Okay, so this is Diesel for We the People. I found this, and it explains it a little bit more in details between a man and the bar members and judges. But this is kind of in the middle of the video, and I'll go back and reason why I'm doing this first is so you guys can get a better understanding what he was saying to attorneys. That way you can understand more of what the courts are doing. Alright. This is a learning video. I'm not an attorney, nor care to be an attorney. This is for the people, for we the people, that wants to take matters on our own hands and not bank on outsiders that you fully don't understand. This, again, is a learning thing for we the people to work together to get out of these problems we're having. If we don't have constitutional rights, then what's good is the Constitution, right? Alright, so let's go ahead and proceed forward on this. And this is going to be a few videos because the whole video is actually pretty long, and when we stop in and explaining, it just adds to it, right? So here we go.
On the board.
My name's John Slauson. I'm a defense attorney. If you'd like, I can ask the judge if she'd appoint me as not your attorney, but as a legal advisor. If you have some questions like you had out there, if you'd like some things answered.
I don't believe that you're able to answer. I'm attempting to be informed of the cause and nature of the proceedings so that I can be arraigned. And she's trying to indicate that I have been arraigned and I have not been arraigned.
Right, that's what I mean. If you'd like me to try and help answer some questions, I'm happy to do it. If you don't, that's fine. I just thought I'd offer.
Well, I'm okay talking to you right now, and if you really feel like you have the answer, but...
So, you were asking about whether or not the district attorney has provided proof to establish probable cause. Is that what you were arguing about?
Jurisdiction.
So, the information is the initial burden. The state files it, and then at that point, there's no obligation on the state until you challenge that, and the way to do that is to go to trial. At trial, they would have to meet all of those burdens. You're not obligated to take a plea before trial, and so by voluntarily entering a plea before actually going to trial and challenging the state's charges against you, you are telling the court that you're accepting the charges and admitting that there's sufficient facts to prove your guilt. Thereby, jurisdiction is just instantly established.
But I have...
Okay, the two key words in there, remember? Consent. We the people always give consent. Alright? Now he specifically says you give consent, automatically gives them jurisdiction. Okay? This is the number one problem with these courts we have today. Is consent, consent, consent. And we always give it to them. He's challenged the jurisdiction of the courts. Well, they have no authority until they have jurisdiction. The only way they have jurisdiction is once you give them consent. I just want to bring that to your attention because, this attorney, whoever he is, was absolutely correct, and he defined it pretty good. Let's proceed forward on this.
I've never entered a plea.
I know, but I thought I heard you out there saying you just wanted to enter a plea and be done with it.
I've been attempting to enter a plea of guilty.
Right.
Okay. So, entering a plea of guilty, and you're asking, well, why would he enter a plea of guilty, right? Well, the reason why he says my attention is to enter plea guilty is to get rid of controversy. All right? So he's not arguing the case. Right? No controversy, no case. So this is where they get us also. It's the controversy part. Once you start going into the courts, and I talked about it on a video a while back, all right, controversy gives them automatic jurisdiction. But since he says he's willing to play guilty, got rid of controversy. So right now, the courts are really legitimately stuck. They have no jurisdiction. They have no controversy. So, and what they're trying to do is wrap him around in a corner, box him in. And what he is doing right now is boxing the courts in where they cannot go anywhere. This is the reason why I said, out of 100 people that does this, there's only going to be 2 people to proceed forward on this, because it's not an easy thing. You got to be on top of your game with these courts. They've been doing this for years and years and years. And, they got this all figured out. They've had 150 years to figure this out and bypass the Constitution and entrap you in a controversy thing. Okay? Let's go a little further.
Yeah.
Contingent on the...
It can't be.
Hold on.
Contingent.
No. Let me finish.
Sure.
Before you interrupt.
Sure.
I've been attempting to enter a guilty plea. However, before I do, it has to be informed, right? Is the court able to accept uninformed guilty pleas? Yes or no?
It's a 2-part question.
Well, it's a simple question.
No, it's
Can
not.
the
It's
court
a 2-part
accept
question. So
uninformed guilty plea?
I'm just telling you it's a 2-part question, so I'm going to answer both parts of it. Okay. Yes, a court can accept what I'm thinking you mean by uninformed.
Don't dick around with me. I mean, we're
I'm not dicking around with you. I'm telling you that you can be informed by looking at the police reports that the state has to provide you, the discovery. And once you've read it, you can decide whether or not you think the state can meet their burden of proof based on those police reports. That's how you become informed. And that's, at that point, once you've read those and you voluntarily go up there and enter a plea of guilty, you are telling the court that you're informed and that there's sufficient facts. If you don't believe those things to be true, then no, the court cannot accept the guilty plea.
Can it be considered that a cause of action is valid if jurisdiction has not been established?
Yes. By voluntarily admitting a guilty plea,
Right, if I voluntarily...
then you are
But at this
accepting
point-
jurisdiction.
But at this point, there's no jurisdiction that has been established.
So here's the catch-22.
So this is where they get you. And if you read on there, they talk about sovereign citizen. He's not really a sovereign citizen. He's challenging the courts. Okay? They just, whoever put that on there, it is what it is, right? However, they just plainly said they don't have jurisdiction, which they can only get it with consent or if you actually hire an attorney. Attorney automatically puts you in jurisdiction, and the court's designed for you to be guilty until proven innocent, right? So that's what they're saying is you're guilty until proven innocent, and then you got to go to court to prove your innocence. So by Constitution, you're innocent until proven guilty, but they bypass the Constitution. You are guilty until proven innocence. And now, once you get jurisdiction, now it goes into arguments. Okay? So if he did get attorney, 1, or if he gone ahead and made a plea, 2, he entered jurisdiction, and now there's an argument. There's conflict, right? So the number one thing is you don't argue. It's designed for you to argue, and it's designed for you to argue and lose.
You sort of, I think I understand what you want, which is sort of an option C. In the criminal justice system, there's only option A and option B. Option A is you contest jurisdiction, and by default, you contest everything else.
Right.
You have to contest everything or nothing. That's how it works in the criminal justice system. You can contest jurisdiction, which is fine. You can do that all the time. That equals trial.
Right.
Or you can accept jurisdiction voluntarily. You have to do it by completely voluntary will, and then you can enter a guilty plea. Those are really the only two options afforded, and they're totally up to you.
Okay, so she says in a criminal case, right? So even with the traffic ticket, y'all, it's a misdemeanor. But in most states, and I believe it's actually all states, but especially in the state of Texas, a misdemeanor is a crime. It specifically says it's a crime. If you read it, all right, it's just a low-level crime, but it's still a crime. So, and again, she even said that you got to voluntarily enter, right? So it's consent. It's consent, consent, consent. So the guy is not really sovereign because he's challenged the jurisdiction. He's just an ordinary man that believes that they actually had to have just cause by facts. So show me the just cause by facts before we can proceed forward. I'm not here to argue with you. Just show me your facts. Period. And that's what the guy is totally what he's doing. So I'm going to cut this one short and proceed forward on another video so you guys don't get bored. Decent for we the people. Bye.